Okay, so in the previous lecture, we started our discussion on passive systems. So we first started with the um, electrical circuit, which was just a resistor circuit, and then we moved on to a RC circuit. Okay, a discussion on the RC circuit remains same as the discussion for the RLC circuit that has been shown here. So with V as the applied voltage, there is a current I that will flow in the circuit, and for the V as the input and I as the output of the system, uh, we saw the dissipation inequality. Okay, so we express the dissipation inequality as U transpose Y minus dE by dt to be greater than equal to 0. Now, here in this circuit, this is a single input, single output system where the input is V and the output is I. So, Vi minus dE by dt is greater than equal to 0. This is what is the dissipation inequality, right? And for passive systems with memory, okay, when do we say a system has memory? Ideally, when it has storage elements, okay, like in an electrical circuit, it is capacitor or inductor. So in those cases, the supply power is greater than the rate of change of the stored energy for passive systems. Okay. Uh, Also, we saw that if this circuit is short circuited, then d by dt is negative, indicating that the stored energy will not increase. It will either stay at 0 or will decrease. Okay, d by dt is greater than equal to 0. I won't say negative, so greater than equal to 0. So since the stored energy is positive and the rate of change of the stored energy is negative for this particular circuit, we can take this stored energy as the Lyapunov candidate function, and it qualifies to be a Lyapunov function because the rate of change is non-positive, and this hence can indicate that the autonomous system. So when there is no input applied and the system is evolving on its own, so the autonomous system that we have will be a stable system. Okay, so we had also seen the dissipation so we had also seen the inequality or the condition for memoryless systems. So to summarize, we had memoryless systems to be passive if U transpose Y or the supply power is positive, but for memory based systems the supply power minus the rate of change of stored energy has to be positive. Okay, so now consider a CISO system that of the form Y by U equal to G. Okay, so Y is the output, U is the input, and G is the transfer function. So we are considering a CISO system. So for this CISO system, suppose there is an input U that is applied, which is at least non-zero over a finite time interval. Okay, so U is not an input which is identically zero. So U is an input which is non-zero at least over a finite time interval. Okay, now recall that we started our discussion with the fact that the supply power has to be positive for a passive system. Okay, so we integrated from minus infinity to infinity. So if you recall the RC circuit that we had, the RC circuit, we saw that over a finite time interval, it is possible that we get the supply power to be negative. So the case arose when the applied voltage, the applied voltage V was less than the potential that has developed across the capacitor. In that case, there was a flow of power from the circuit towards the source. Okay, so the source power was negative. But if we look at how the supply power is going to be, or what is the direction of supply power is going to be, or the what is the direction of supply energy is going to be, for the entire supply energy is going to be for the entire time interval over minus infinity to plus infinity, then it turned out that the supply energy is always positive right? So let us say that that is the definition of passivity for any passive system, whether it is memory based or memory less, and we proceed with that. Okay, so we have a CISO system in hand where GS is the transfer function, and with the definition of passivity being taken as the total energy supplied is going to be greater than equal to 0. With this, we'll see what is the condition that we get. Okay, so now with the integration of u transpose y dt can be broken into two parts, which is u transpose y and y transpose u. So that is why a factor of half comes outside. So this is just a scaling factor that you have, and then this can be actually expressed as what we have here, where this k sitting outside is the scaling factor that has taken care of all the appropriate constants that appear in this particular conversion. Okay, now since y by y is equal to g into u, so in such a case, mm, the yj omega can be replaced with gj omega uj omega. Okay, so once we do that the replacement, what we have is that this integration that you see uh, from minus infinity to infinity, conjugate of uj omega multiplied with gj omega plus gj omega conjugate multiplied by uj omega d omega, this has to be greater than equal to 0. Okay, and this has to hold for all feasible input u. So this means the integrand has to be greater than equal to 0, which essentially turns out that gj omega plus the conjugate of gj omega has to be greater than equal to 0. Now the sum gj omega plus conjugate gj omega, what this is nothing but this is real of gj omega, the real part of gj omega. So I have to substitute g omega is the real part of gj omega, and this, please note that this also has to hold for all omega greater than equal to 0. Okay, so what this is indicating is, if we go with the definition of passivity as the total energy supplied is going to be greater than equal to 0, then it indicates that for a single input single output system, the real part of gj omega has to be greater than equal to 0 for all omega greater than equal to 0. Okay, so this is what looks like as a condition for passivity. Now what does this mean? The real part being 0, if you look at the complex plane, okay, if this is the complex plane where this is real of gj omega and this is the imaginary of gj omega. Okay, and suppose you are going to have the polar plot. So gj omega, when you talk of gj omega, you can you can think of polar plots of g. Okay, polar plots of the transfer function. Now if the real of gj omega is going to be greater than equal to 0 for all values of omega, then it indicates what? That the polar plot is going to lie entirely in the first and the fourth quadrant. Okay, because in the first and the fourth quadrant, the real of gj omega is positive. So for passive systems, from this definition of supply energy being greater than equal to 0, it turns out that the polar plot of such systems will always be entirely contained in the first and the fourth quadrant. Okay, now let us see some examples. Okay, uh, okay, so we would like to attach a definition with such systems. So transfer functions where the real part of gj omega is greater than equal to 0 for all omega greater than equal to 0, they are called positive real transfer functions. So in some literature you would find positive real, the idea of positive real transfer function being attached to the fact that the real part of gj omega is going to be greater than equal to 0 for all omega greater than equal to 0. Okay, but the complete definition of positive real transfer function actually includes idea of stability along with the real part being non-negative. Okay, so we'll see what that complete definition is going to be. But coming back to the definition of passivity, so we got this real part being non-negative from the fact that the supply energy of the system has to be greater than equal to zero. The total supplied energy of the system has to be greater than equal to zero. Okay, that is where we got this real part to be non-negative. Now, uh, if you recall back the passivity definition that we had, what it said was the supply power minus the rate of change of the mm, stored energy has to be greater than equal to zero. So the supply power has to be more than the rate of change of the stored energy. That is what it said, and it also indicated that in the absence of the input, the system has to be asymptotically stable. The system has to be stable. Okay, need not be asymptotically, but the system has to be stable. Why? Because dE by dt will be less than equal to zero. dE by dt will be non-positive or negative semi-definite. Okay, now let's see whether the real part of the gj omega being non-negative will help in establishing that the system is also stable in the absence of the external input. Okay, uh, so it turns out that the real part being non-negative is not going to guarantee stability. Why? Because if you look at the transfer function that I have taken here, which is this, the gs to be equal to s by s minus 1. In such a case, the polar plot you see lies in entirely in the fourth quadrant, which means the real part of gj omega is non-negative for all positive omegas or non-negative omegas, omega greater than equal to 0, right? But the system here is unstable because it has one pole in the open left half of the complex plane. So the real uh, part being non-negative, the real part of gj omega being non-negative is really not the definition, I mean, not the only property that the passive system or a positive real system should have. Okay, so the stability definition should also get attached to it. Okay, so for this, let us see a complete statement that tries to tell you what a positive real system is. Okay, and this statement is known as the positive real lemma. Okay, so this is known as the statement that we are going to make is known as a positive real lemma. It speaks of if certain properties are satisfied, then the system is actually positive real. Okay, I mean it will try to establish that, and uh, then we'll try to show that from this definition itself, if a system is positive real, then the same system also turns out to be a passive system because it will satisfy the dissipation inequality that is supposed to be satisfied by all passive systems. Okay, so so suppose you have a single input, single output linear time invariant system, and let's say the transfer function of the CISO system that you have in hand is g of s, and suppose this g of s is stable. Okay, let x dot equal to x plus bu and y equal to cx plus du, which is this, be the state space representation. Now, this state space representation is a special representation because it is a minimal representation of the given system GS. Okay. Now, when I say minimal representation, that means the pair AB is controllable and the pair AC is observable. Okay. If this is the case, then the real part of gj omega being non-negative for all omega greater than equal to 0 is same as stating that there would exist certain matrices P, L, W, where P is a positive definite matrix. So this is a positive definite matrix, and other matrices L and W of appropriate dimensions, such that these three results are, or these three equations in the matrices are satisfied. So the first is A transpose P plus PA will be equal to minus L transpose L. The second is the product of P and the system matrix B will nothing but be equal to C transpose minus L transpose W. And the third is W transpose W is nothing but B plus D transpose. Okay. And this is what we call as the positive real lemma. And you notice that the system is stable, and we have the real part of the omega to be non-negative. So this is talking of a positive real system. Okay. So let us see this statement again. What it is trying to say is, if you have a stable system, then if you have a stable system which is such that the real part of so if you have a stable system whose polar plot lies in the first or the fourth quadrant, okay, then it is same as saying that for state space representation, which is the minimal representation of this system, will satisfy certain equations for it will satisfy certain equations, which is the three equations that you have: J transpose P plus PA equal to minus L transpose L, PB equal to this, and W transpose W will be equal to D plus D transpose. Okay, so what we'll see is this. What we'll see in the forthcoming lecture is actually this condition can establish that this positive real system that you have in hand is actually going to be a passive system. Okay, so this is revealed when we see. So we'll see. Okay, so we'll see only one side of the proof. So you see, this is a bidirectional implication. Okay, if the bottom part is true, then the top part, which is real of g omega greater than equal to 0, will be true. And if real of g omega is greater than equal to 0, then such matrices will exist so that these equations will be satisfied. So this is a bidirectional implication. So the proof has to be seen in both directions. We will not see the proof in both directions. We will see the proof only in one direction. Reason being, this reveals a nice property about, or rather, an interesting result. And what is that interesting result? Is that the positive real systems are also going to be passive systems. Okay, so we'll stop here with this lecture. Thank you.